with the Early Childhood Workforce Connector. Today, we'd like to present to you equal employment opportunity and affirmative action plans within early childhood education registered apprenticeship programs. The surest way to help workers feel confident in their ability to realize their impact is through the policies that we enact to support their well-being. While we often hear about what we must do, we wanted to share with you what we get to do to support our workers and apprentices to realize their fullest potential. This video will walk you through the requirements of equal employment opportunity policies and affirmative action procedures that are designed to protect you and your apprentices. But before we get into those details, we wanted to anchor the presentation in the why. It is safe to say that most people want to work in a job that is free of discrimination and harassment. Even more, they want to feel valued and to know that they are able to do their part to advance the goals of themselves and their employer. Registered apprenticeship is an effective strategy to help workers to do just that. Through registered apprenticeship, apprentices are empowered to grow their skills, knowledge, and the ability while earning a living. This ensures that they are both adding value to the company that employs them, as well as to themselves and the people and workers. The policies that are developed to protect against discrimination and harassment are necessary tools to ensure that apprentices are able to show up at work every day, fully supported to do their work without worry of harassment or discrimination. Apprentices aware of these protections are empowered to do their work free of worry and support and protect their coworkers and the children and families that they serve. It is in all of our interest to ensure that our child care centers are staffed by people who reflect the community they serve. That advancement opportunity exists and are thoughtfully designed and executed to ensure that no specific group of people gets left behind. Good policies make for better child care programs, and better programs result in healthier, better prepared children. Now let's dig in. In this video, we will present Equal Employment Opportunity, or EEO, and how it exists to ensure that there are equal protections for all workers. This presentation will help you understand the requirements, provide examples of what these policies look like in action, and empower you to design effective equal employment opportunity policies for your apprentices in your registered apprenticeship program. Throughout this webinar, we will look at what discrimination may look like in ECE registered apprenticeship and how to establish operating policies to protect against it. We will look at the requirements of EEO, including the assignment of an EEO officer, the creation of your own policies, the administration of anti-harassment training, how to ensure universal outreach and recruitment, the process for making and resolving complaints, and the signing on of the EEO pledge. Let's dig in. Equal Employment Opportunity, or EEO, exists to ensure that there are equal protection for all workers. A well-designed EEO policy helps us set a baseline for how we treat each other on the job. It helps us clarify what our values and about respecting each other, our families, and our children. So what is EEO? This is a federal requirement that was designed to make sure that every worker is protected against discrimination in the workplace. EEO prohibits discrimination based on race, color, religion, national origin, gender, sexual orientation, age, genetic information, or disability. Employers must protect workers against discrimination, both during the hiring process and throughout their employment. Equal employment opportunity helps all workers access and succeed in apprenticeship, including populations traditionally underrepresented in apprenticeship programs, such as women, minorities, individuals with disabilities, and others. So what must those policies include? First is the guiding principle of the policies is that discrimination against an apprentice or applicant is prohibited by law. The Registered Apprenticeship Program sponsor must ensure that all applicants for apprenticeship, apprentices, and individuals connected with the administration or operation of the Registered Apprenticeship Program are aware of and understand its commitment to equal employment opportunity and its affirmative action obligations. To comply with EEO requirements, each program assigns responsibility to an individual or individuals who is then the authorized EEO representative. This person is responsible for applying a reasonable approach to oversight of the organization's commitment to equal employment opportunity. This includes the development of an affirmative action plan, and they will monitor for compliance, maintain the EEO and affirmative action records, and generate and submit any reports regarding EEO or affirmative action. Every employer must make their EEO policy easily accessible and available. The policy should be covered in new employee orientations, in the employee handbook, and in any information sessions related to the program. The policy should be displayed in a variety of public places, such as a lunchroom, included on the application for employment, in the website, or other public-facing spaces. It should be translated into relevant languages based on the demographics of the apprentices in the program. Providing anti-harassment training to all individuals connected with the administration or operation of the apprenticeship program, including all apprentices and journey workers who regularly work with apprentices. This training must not be a mere transmission of information, but must also include participation by trainees, such as attending a training session in person or completing an interactive online training. In the description of this video, we will place a link to the U.S. DOL provided anti-harassment training, which includes this interactive feature. The Equal Employment Opportunity Pledge I will have posted on the next slide. But I wanted to mention that this pledge simply states that your program will not discriminate against apprenticeship applicants or apprentices based on race, color, religion, national origin, sex, sexual orientation, genetic information, or because they are an individual with a disability or a person 40 years of age or older. Your program will take affirmative action to provide equal opportunity in apprenticeship and will operate the apprenticeship program as required under Title 29 of the Code of Federal Regulations, Part 30. These policies must also address what the Universal Outreach and Recruitment Policy will include and how it will be executed, as well as the process for filing complaints. Universal Outreach and Recruitment asks that you develop a list of recruitment sources each year that will generate referrals for your apprenticeship program. These referrals should be from all demographic groups within your recruitment area. Your list will include the contact person at these recruitment sources who will be able to refer qualified candidates that reflect the demographics of the community you serve. Another part of your equal employment opportunity responsibility is to define the process for apprentices to file a complaint. Every apprentice or applicant for apprenticeship has the right to file a complaint if they believe they have been discriminated against. Your process should include how complaints will be submitted and to whom, and what the resolution process will be. Also, if the resolution to the complaint is unfavorable, what the next steps would be for that apprentice or applicant to continue with their complaint. This could include contacting the State Apprenticeship Agency, Office of Apprenticeship, or Apprenticeship Training Representative. Finally, every program sponsor is required to take the pledge. This is a great opportunity to show off your commitment to equal employment opportunity and to share with apprentices, families, and partners the value that you place on protecting apprentices. The pledge clarifies that people cannot be discriminated against based on protected categories such as race, color, religion, national origin, gender, sexual orientation, genetic information, or age. Affirmative action means that each sponsor will take action that affirm their commitment to equal employment opportunity. The anti-harassment training that we mentioned earlier should be completed by all levels of employees. This list is just intended to get you thinking about who needs to participate in the training. We recommend including it as a part of your HR onboarding practices, as well as annual staff development training to ensure compliance. Your HR department or assigned EEO officer is responsible for ensuring that this training is completed. As we mentioned, the U.S. Department of Labor provides an interactive anti-harassment training course, which we will link in the description. Discrimination can occur in many different environments, including the workplace. The pledge is a way to commit to protecting your apprentices from acts that could be considered discriminatory, whether those acts are intentional or unintentional. Unintentional discriminatory action often results from implicit bias, which is the unconscious favoritism towards the prejudice against people of particular ethnicity, gender, or social group that influences one's actions or perceptions. We all have implicit bias. It is a consequence of being human. For more on implicit bias, please check out this video. We will link blind spot challenge assumptions as a link in the description. EEO and affirmative action policy development and guidance gives us the opportunity to develop protections for our apprentices to avoid discrimination or harassment in our workplace that result from assumptions that we bring with hiring, management, advancement decisions, and practices. By designing effective policies to guard against the perception of discrimination or harassment, we protect our programs and our people. Your HR team or representative will be able to advise you on what constitutes discrimination. If you would like some examples of discrimination or harassment in your workplace, we will link to a U.S. DOL provided anti-harassment equal employment opportunity video in the description. Next, we are going to dig into affirmative action. If equal employment opportunity exists to establish policies that define an equitable playing field for all workers to succeed, then affirmative action is the framing for how those policies will be practiced. So what is affirmative action and why is it important? Technically, affirmative action is a program of positive action undertaken with conviction and effort to overcome the present effects of past practices, policies, or barriers that negatively impact equal employment opportunity. Affirmative action is designed to achieve the full and fair participation of all protected groups found to be underutilized in the workforce or groups negatively affected by past policies and practices. Remember, protected groups are defined by race, color, religion, national origin, gender, sexual orientation, age, genetic information, or disability. The policies, practices, and procedures that are developed to protect these groups are done with the affirmation of full and fair access to opportunity for all people. An affirmative action plan frames the intent of the policy and provides the strategy to monitor its effectiveness in assuring equitable access to opportunity through recruitment, hiring, and retention practices. An affirmative action plan is designed to ensure equal employment opportunity and to prevent discrimination in apprenticeship programs. An affirmative action plan includes those policies, practices, and procedures, including self-analysis, that the sponsor implements to ensure that all qualified applicants and apprentices are receiving an equal opportunity for recruitment, selection, advancement, retention, and every other term and privilege associated with registered apprenticeship. An affirmative action plan frames the intent of the policy and provides the strategy to monitor its effectiveness in assuring equitable access to opportunity through recruitment, hiring, and retention practices. The components of the affirmative action plan include utilization analysis for race, sex, and ethnicity, establishment of utilization goals for race, sex, and ethnicity, utilization goals for individuals with disabilities, targeted outreach, recruitment, and retention, review of personnel processes, and an invitation to self-identify as disabled. The components of the affirmative action plan are in Title 29, Code of Federal Regulation, Part 30. The plan begins by conducting a workforce analysis of demographics and the utilization analysis. The plan that you design should aim to ensure that your apprentices reflect the community you serve. As you compare your community demographics with your apprentice demographics, you may notice that you have some gaps in representation. Your plan should be designed to ensure that you are filling those gaps with apprentices that reflect the whole community. This is what's called targeted recruitment. In many early childhood education programs, Black and brown women make up a majority of the workforce. Targeted recruitment may then look like recruiting males into early childhood education registered apprenticeship programs. For each protected class, your plan must identify your goals. For instance, the Office of Apprenticeship's goal for the utilization of individuals with disabilities is set at 7%. But it does not mean that your goal must be the same. You should set goals that reflect your local demographics in the community you are operating in. Once these goals are set, you should think about how to reach the groups you want to recruit in your hiring process. The universal outreach referral sources are the organizations you routinely rely on to identify new workers or apprentices. They are able to help you ensure that you are recruiting and retaining a workforce that reflects your community. The plan should also consider your personnel processes, as the processes can oftentimes conflict with the sponsor's EEO policies. A close review of your plan and your program policies each year will help you to stay current and ensure equal employment opportunity, as well as affirmative action. Finally, I want to bring to your attention the last component, the invitation to self-identify. This is a voluntary disclosure of disability status by the apprentice. Apprentices do not have to share their disability status with you, and oftentimes they don't because of fear of being discriminated. So, part of your process should include helping apprentices feel safe and secure sharing that information with you. The invitation to self-identify is not a reasonable accommodation request. This means it will be important to communicate your intent to be an ally and an advocate, as well as working with them on reasonable accommodation requests if they should make that request. An affirmative action plan is required for programs with 5 or more registered apprentices. This requirement may vary by state, so we encourage you to check your state requirements. There are resources to help you develop your affirmative action plan, including the U.S. Department of Labor Registered Apprenticeship Academy, the Affirmative Action Plan Builder, and the U.S. DOL-provided Affirmative Action Plan Builder User Guide. Your state may also provide guidance or templates on how you can create an affirmative action plan. We also wanted to share that the Partnerships on Inclusive Apprenticeships has a terrific guide for developing and implementing an affirmative action program. The links to these resources are provided in the video description below. Here are some promising practices for implementing your equal employment opportunity and anti-harassment training into your program. First, we recommend including an HR representative or consulting with an HR company or legal counsel when developing your equal employment opportunity, anti-harassment training, and affirmative action plans. Include your program's EEO pledge and anti-harassment training in onboarding, orientation, or annual trainings. You can also include the opportunity to self-identify within your orientation and application processes. If your organization is a nonprofit, you should consult with your board of directors to develop or review your equal employment opportunity and affirmative action plans. If your program has an advisory committee or joint apprenticeship training committee for oversight of your program, we recommend including them in this process as well. Registered apprenticeship programs have the ability to open the doors for opportunity for all prospective apprentices by creating inclusive programs that welcome a diverse pool of candidates. The Equal Employment Opportunity and Affirmative Action regulations for registered apprenticeship programs are designed to help early childhood education registered apprenticeship program sponsors assess any barriers to equal opportunity, broaden their outreach strategies, and create the kind of diverse workplace that benefits both sponsors and apprentices. If you have questions or want to discuss your equal employment opportunity or affirmative action plans, please contact the Early Childhood Workforce Connector using the information on this slide. Thank you for your time today and your commitment to support and sustain a safe, inclusive, diverse early childhood education workforce.